Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of Kaiju Conversation. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host.
Haxorzilla.
How are you doing today, Haxor?
I'm doing good.
That's good. Anything new or exciting since we've last spoke?
Let's see.
Ooh, it
Um,
must be big. You're having to think about it.
no, I don't think so.
Okay. Um, Nothing new on my end. So, anyway, I guess we can go ahead and get into the topic of the week. And suggested by you, Haxor, this week we will be discussing the world of Godzilla. Not the franchise as a whole, but the quote unquote upcoming shared cinematic universe with Godzilla and company. Now, I do just want to touch on a few quick little things, what we know of the universe and what we don't, or we'll get into a speculation later. But if I recall, Haxor, if I get anything wrong here, please tell me. Um, so first things first, wasn't it in 2017 when they brought up the world of Godzilla? Do you remember,
That
Hex?
it's either 2017 or 2018. I can't remember.
We're going to say 2017 because I said it. Uh, I don't know if that's right. I think so. Anyway, it was the chairman and CEO of uh, Godzilla, the Godzilla division of Toho, kind of like how Sony has Ghost Corps, which is like the monitor of all the Ghostbuster stuff, all that jazz. So, I guess he went on record and he said he likes what the MonsterVerse is doing. However, he's excited to do the world of Godzilla. Am I correct there, basically, Haxor?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And that's basically all we know. Um, so that's not a lot. He basically he talked about how he would like to do what Marvel does, how the Hulk can cross over with Iron Man, and Iron Man can be in Avengers, and just become a MCU-esque universe. Which I believe he also referenced the Showa era. Haxor, do you know about that? If he referenced it or not?
Um, don't think so. I can't remember.
Okay. Anyway,
I
Showa
don't really,
became first.
I don't really read a lot of news.
Huh. Well, anyway, basically, yeah, that's what we know. Um, and like I said, that's not a lot. Uh, so I guess we can go ahead and get into our speculation of what said universe could be. I really hope we can have a very long, in-depth discussion here. So, Haxor, we'll have you start us off here. What do you want, or what do you think the world of Godzilla will be?
Well, I think Toho's gonna try and replicate what the MCU has been doing, and just basically have like we'll finally get solo movies for characters like Anguirus, who really deserve one.
I gotcha. Care to go into more detail?
Well, maybe they started off with like Godzilla, and then they go on from there, like Anguirus and Mothra, and then maybe Rodan. And I don't know if they should give King Ghidorah his own movie, because maybe they could just do something like the way they have Thanos in the MCU, where they kind of like
Well,
tease him destroying planets or something.
I mean, Ghidorah did get his own movie back in the 60s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's out of curiosity, real quick. And for everybody listening at home, tweet us or email us or comment down below. What do you think? Is Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster and Invasion of Astro Monster a Ghidorah movie? Let's start off with that
I'd
real
say
quick.
yes.
Is King Kong vs. Godzilla a King Kong movie over a Godzilla?
Well, I'd say it's a Well, I think it depends on who's featured in it more.
To me, if it's for whoever gets first billed is the main character, if you know
Yeah,
what I mean.
because you got Mothra versus Godzilla,
Yes, and Mothra is heavily in that.
and then you also have Ghidorah the
Terror of
Three-Headed
Mechagodzilla,
Monster. Terror
Ghidorah, yeah.
Mechagodzilla is a Mechagodzilla movie,
Yes.
and as I was saying before you rudely interrupted me, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster or whatever is a King Ghidorah movie because he's the only one featured in the title. Similar to how Godzilla vs. Kong will be kind of the third Godzilla movie in the MonsterVerse.
True. So are you yes or no to King Kong Tai Gojira being a King Kong movie and Mosora Tai Gojira being a Mosora movie? I
First of all,
used
never.
Japanese.
First of all, never do that again. And two,
I
uh,
love saying them in Japanese.
um, it's hard to say
I
because
mean,
it's made by Toho.
yes.
I think I'm gonna have to lean towards more of it being a King Kong movie.
Yes, agreed 100%. And are you the same
Isn't
for
it
Mothra?
strange? Isn't it strange that a King Kong movie has one of the best Godzilla designs?
If you say so.
And yes, Mothra versus Godzilla is a Mothra movie.
Okay, good. So we're on the
But
same page there.
it still is in like
It's a
Godzilla
Godzilla
category.
movie, but it's more of it fits in both. It's kind of like
Yeah,
how Iron
it's
Man,
it's it's a part of the Godzilla franchise.
yes,
Still,
all the same.
even if it's a Mothra movie.
Yes.
And
Now,
also back to the Will of Godzilla, I think
I
it would give like lesser known monsters more of a spot chance to shine in the spotlight, like the gargantuans. Um,
true.
Maybe even Baragon, Gorosaurus.
He's better gone. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Back onto what we were discussing earlier about monster movies not being exactly Godzilla movies 100%, but also the other the other monster movies. Would you say Son of Godzilla and All Monsters Attack are more Manila movies than they are?
I don't know about that. Mm,
I mean, Godzilla definitely gets sidelined in both for Manila.
I'd say yes on whatever the one features Gabra, and no on Son of Godzilla.
Okay. Well, anyway, back onto the topic at hand. Yes, I do agree with you 100% on having monsters time to shine in the world of Godzilla. I know personally I'd like them to do a Godzilla movie, Anguirus, Mothra, Rodan, Varan, King Kong if they can secure the rights to King Kong. Have each
No, leave
monster
King
get a
Kong out of this.
I don't know. I'd like to see King Kong. I would like to have a complete shared universe with almost every single giant monster
No,
that's
just
been on the screen.
Toho. I prefer to just
Well,
see Toho monsters in there.
I mean, Kong is technically Toho.
Eh,
And then I would also like to see prequels like Orochi the Eight-Headed Dragon get a reboot and have it take place before everything,
that would be cool.
you know. Uh, and
And
like
maybe
you
have
said,
people like Maguma to spotlight. Maybe give
I
them
mean,
like
I
little
would like
spots.
for them to do a Gorath remake. That would make a lot of sense. And if you've seen our Godzilla Final Wars theory episode, a lot of what I'm thinking is similar to that, except it's all one timeline and not multiple skewed out timelines. But I think it would be really cool if they could bring back Frankenstein and the Gargantuas and Kong and Ghidorah and all of these monsters in the
And the
Toho
Jaguar.
verse. Yes, give him his own movie. That would work. And then they could easily, you know, start them off with solo movies like the MCU did, and then whenever they get to quote unquote phase 2, they could easily, start having more of tag team movies. What I think would be cool is if Godzilla, like, if they did, like, Godzilla alone, Anguirus, all these monsters, but not too many, just do, like, 4 or 5 solo monster movies, and then you do a remake of Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, and you have those monsters cross over in that movie. And then you have phase 2, which is kind of building up more of these monsters. Then you have Destroy All Monsters. Then, you build up again to like Godzilla versus Destroya. And then, if there's a way the story would work, I'd love if the last movie would be like Godzilla Final Wars Part 1 and Part 2. Uh, Haxor, what would you want for a uh, timeline or whatever? Uh, it just, I can't think of the word. You know what I'm trying to say.
I'd like to see maybe a Godzilla movie that takes place in '54, like to begin with,
Yes,
and
agreed.
then maybe like you jump up to like modern times, where like maybe you have like Anguirus, and
Uh,
also, or maybe not like jump to modern times, but maybe like slowly build up to modern times. But we should also have other kaiju's star with them as like the villains, like how Iron Man, or better example, um the Avengers have
Hulk.
Loki or something
I
like that.
gotcha. I
Like
gotcha.
they like maybe the first Godzilla movie is a standalone, and maybe like the Anguirus one, maybe he fights, I don't know, Baragon, maybe even, or they could even create brand new kaiju's for this universe as well.
Yes.
That would be great to
Um,
see.
to go on to what you were saying, Haxor,
And
I would.
imagine the toy lines for this movie, this universe.
Well, we'll discuss the potential for distribution here in a little bit. Um, I don't know how well this is going to go over. This is just a thought I've had. And I know you shouldn't mess with lightning in a bottle. 'Cause it's lightning in a bottle. What would you feel if they remade the original Godzilla in 1950? If
With
they took the storyline, Toho, if Toho took the storyline but modernized it ever so slightly to be a modern day movie, and this
I
be the beginning.
I think that has real potential to be a really nice, dark and gritty Godzilla film, and maybe even have it a chance to be a horror film if they do it right.
And like, I would want them to kill Godzilla at the because I would like them to then say there may be others out there, and then like it, oh, that's how there's more Godzillas in the world of Godzilla. Uh, Now, like I said, I know that it's the original Godzilla movie is how would you say it's something not to be messed with. I think we can both agree on that, right, Haxor?
Mhm.
I It's recognized to be one of the greatest sci-fi movies of, and I hang on, Haxor, you talk a little bit more about what a solo dark gritty Godzilla movie would be. I've actually got a magazine I want to check and see where they put Godzilla before at.
Well, I think a dark and gritty Godzilla movie would keep like it would show people getting injured, like how in GMK that person in the hospital, um, like you know that they're dead because it shows them in the building, and then it shows the building getting destroyed, like kind of in that manner. Like it shows people
Yeah.
dying, and then
Yeah,
showing the effects of the radiation poisoning on the people that were on the Lucky Dragon boat or whatever it's called.
yeah, I gotcha. So I thought this movie or this book I had was going to give me a list, but it's not. It's just giving me 100 of it's 100 years of great science fiction. It was done by Life magazine. Um, and what's cool is it whenever you go to the main part of the book, it's Age of Anxiety 50s and 60s, and it does have Godzilla as the main cover thingy. Well, whatever it is. So I'm just going to here, like it says. Let's. To be fair, publishers paid brisk money for crap detective stories too, but science fiction has always involved a significant schlock factor. For every The Day the Earth Stood Still, there were 100 radar men from the moon and them. The latter film, about giant radioactive ants taking over Los Angeles, was an example of the nuclear monster movie that became popular in the wake of 1954's original Godzilla, without, of course, the examination of social issues that underlay actors' marauding and rubber monsters. I don't know if that helped at all, but basically that I'm trying to say is like the original does not be messed.
All right, another thing I want to bring up is I hope they don't just shove Mothra, Rodan, Godzilla into every single one of these movies just to
Agreed.
make more money. Like I hope they just like not really focus on the money as much and just focus on making good quality movies. Like
Agreed.
for example, maybe in the Anguirus movie, either it continues as a standalone, or they create a whole new kaiju. And then in maybe the Mothra movie, they have Deadzilla as the villain.
Yeah. Or I mean, they could also just do standalone monster movies too. But I
Yeah,
do agree. I don't want them
but
because
Iron Man,
everybody has seen. Oh, go ahead.
but movies like Iron Man and like Captain America wouldn't be as entertaining if they didn't have a villain.
True,
Like
but
take
that's because
Thanos
they're
out of
regular
Infinity
human.
War.
Well, it's different that way. I mean, like, what are they going to do? They have no. They can dwell on social issues, but that was kind of Iron Man 3 somewhat, and Iron Man 3 is not very good. While it's a giant monster movie like Mothra, even though I think that movie is boring, because I only have seen it like 5 times in my life, I it did well. You know, it explained Mothra's origins. It gave a social issue problem while the military's trying to kill a monster that's literally just trying to get her twin fairies back and home. So, I mean, it is slightly different, I would argue, for giant monster movies than movies like Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Thor, and Captain America.
I know, but I just like to see like a monster fight or something in one of these like standalone movies, or they wouldn't be standalone. But here's a better example: take the Mudos of 2014.
Okay.
What do you have
Uh,
Godzilla to do then?
walk through cities, destroy stuff.
That doesn't really work for his
I
character in
mean,
the
very
MonsterVerse.
true. But another thing is you're also thinking major elements of the story have to dwell on the Mutos. So, really, it's kind of difficult to, say, take out the villain whenever, if you do, most of your story elements for that film are gone. Godzilla 98, I feel like, is a perfect example, even though it's not a good Godzilla movie. Uh, when you think about it, Godzilla 98, I feel like it covered the concept of a giant monster in the modern day that's a villain. However, he's just trying to breed and do what nature does. I feel like it covered that very well. Uh, Haxor, do you have any comments about my 98 stuff?
Nope.
Okay. But do you kind of see where I'm going with that?
Yep.
Okay. But I do see where you're coming from. But like I said, it's also, it rests on, does the story work? Kind of like
Okay,
every
well
King
maybe
Kong movie.
maybe they could have maybe like Godzilla take the role of the Iron Man of the world of Godzilla, and then have Anguirus be like the Hulk or something, and then have Mothra be the Thor, and Rodan be the Captain America, so on and so on. Like those are
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
main people we focus on. But then there's also side characters, like for example, maybe Hawkeye could take the role as King Caesar. It's just
Yeah,
examples.
exactly. And I agree with you. Definitely in the world of Godzilla, it would
And
be
maybe
Godzilla is it's the front lines. Godzilla's what's going to come in first, give you a trilogy, keep giving you movies because Godzilla's the big one involved.
and maybe for the first ones, they keep it standalone, and for the
Yeah,
sequels, you give them the monsters and an opponent. Like maybe Rodan's first opponent could be Megaguirus as a callback to the '56 film. I think it's '56.
yes.
And then for the Mothra one, as I said before, I'd love to see the Garlic make a comeback.
Yeah, I do agree with you there, especially with stuff like that. But I do agree after you get some solo movies, you should definitely start introducing either team up movies or just brawl movies like Frankenstein Conquers the World or War of the Gargantuas. Definitely those do need to have more than one monster in them. Uh, but so basically, I think what we're both saying is what we would want is like Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, Anguirus, or something like that, or even have Anguirus be in another movie and that be kind of his movie.
I just want Anguirus to make a comeback and have it a good comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, Anguirus has always stuck out as one of those main monsters. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, Anguirus was Godzilla's first opponent,
And he's
and
Godzilla's
did,
best friend.
if you go by Godzilla versus
Showa.
Mechagodzilla, correct. But, I
And
mean,
it makes me sad that he was scrapped twice in the Millennium and Heisei.
yeah.
He needs to come back.
Yeah, and there's definitely, and I know a lot of people have voiced this, but I do get tired of Mothra, Rodan, Ghidorah, Godzilla,
Yes.
Mechagodzilla. The big five.
It's not like I
They,
don't like them, but it just gets
it's just,
tiresome finding
yeah.
like seeing them all over the place.
You
Because
have
I
40
think
different monsters. Use somebody else.
so I'm not as crazy for GMK as everyone else is, but I do think it's a great movie. But I think it would have just been better if they kept out Mothra and Ghidorah and went with the original idea with Anguirus,
Anguirus and
Varan,
Varen,
and Baragon.
Baragon. Like I said, and that script was scrapped because of they didn't
It
think that
was gonna make enough
Varen
money.
and yeah,
And I don't
and they're
want the
like,
world of Godzilla to suffer from the same problems of that. That's what I meant
yes,
earlier.
and I mean, I feel like if as long as they time it correctly, it would make money. But I do agree. Like I would love and I would love to see a new Varen movie that's actually good, a Baragon movie, a new Mogera movie, Dogora,
Manda?
Frankenstein, Manda, perfect example, Manda, Space Amoeba, you
Oh,
know,
yes. I'd love to
Um,
see Camebus make a comeback
yeah.
after being washed
Orga.
up on that beach.
Honestly, I feel like Orga is such a complex monster.
Yeah, because he
You could
can.
easily have him in his own movie, but it's more based on the spaceship learning about the aliens, and Orga is kind of like a sidelined monster during the
And
film.
you could also have a plot line where he eats other monsters and like kind of like takes forms of that, kind of like the Trilo pods in Rulers of Earth.
Okay, yeah, that would work. And I mean, the thing is, with Godzilla, you can explore so many genres. You know, a film can be a comedy, but another one can be a romantic movie while still having
Rodan.
sci-fi and horror and fantasy. That's what's so special is with Godzilla, you don't just have sci-fi. You can bring other elements in. You can bring it as action. You can have it as a suspense. You can do thrillers, you know?
Yeah. There's something I was gonna say, but I can't remember what it was. Oh yes, I really like. I want original monsters. I don't want it to just be jam packed full of originals. Whether it's standalone movies for brand new monsters, or just simple opponents for the monsters, I want original monsters. Because
Yes.
they're not gonna, like, people aren't gonna get, like, I don't know what I'm trying to make my point is here, but we need to expand how much monsters there are in the Godzilla universe. Like, make more
Yeah.
iconic monsters, like, so maybe, like, from a few 100 years or so, not 100, like 20 years or so, people can have like other monsters to look at that are as iconic as Godzilla, or
Yeah. And I
if
I, I
that makes
agree with
sense.
that. Um I do know that one of the spokespeople for the Godzilla company at Toho did say in an interview that when it comes to the monsters that are in the film, they leave that up for the filmmaker to decide who is in it, why is in it, and what is. Which means if they wanted to use an original monster, that would be fine, or they could use one of their stock kaiju. So yeah, I
Yeah, because
definitely.
the world needs more monsters like Behemoth.
And that is one thing, though. I know some people are like, I can't wait for the Mutos to be in a Japanese movie, or I don't know if anybody said that, but
Well, I
they
also
legally
really like the
cannot be.
Mutos.
So
Yeah,
there's some bad news. We
it
will
would be.
never see the Mutos outside of what
There's
they're
more
in
of a chance for a solo Anguirus movie to be made
than a
than
Muto.
than a Anguirus appearing in the MonsterVerse.
Eh, I don't know
I
about
guess it's
that one.
50-50. I don't know. I'm talking out of my butt now.
uh, so if you do you want to talk more about what you would like them to kind of build it as, real quick?
Mm, I don't think so.
Okay. Basically, going back, I know we're really referencing the MCU, but that is a perfect example of a very financially successful franchise universe. Uh, yeah, it's very as a cinematic universe, it is very successful. I would love for them to hint at Destroya as being the big bad. That's who
No,
would I. Okay, hear
I
me out.
really.
Destroya has never been beaten by Godzilla. In
Yeah, but
his
he was
most
taking.
strongest form, Destroya still could not be killed by Godzilla.
Nah, but my thing with Destroyer is I really don't know where his power level stands, because he was taken down by the God G Force or whatever it's called.
His wings were shot up to pieces,
I
and he then
still.
fell onto Earth at like 50 miles an hour. Actually, it was more. If you did the math of how much Destroyer weighs times 9.8, that would get you his velocity. Do you want me to do that real quick? Man. I just
Yeah, but my
have
point is they still played a role in is like if it wasn't for them, destroy Godzilla's meltdown still would have probably killed him, but it just I still see it as them killing him.
I gotcha. Okay,
But
so
I think
he
Destroyer
weighed.
would make a good quote unquote Loki. But I
Well,
really think King Ghidorah should be the big bad.
I mean, Ghidorah's been killed so many times, while Destroyer hasn't.
I know, but Ghidorah is just.
Okay, so this is like meters per second or something. I don't know, but 784,000 like meters per second or feet per second, one of the two. He was falling from however high he was in the air to Earth, so he just kind of splat onto the ground. So that's pretty
I
fast.
I think this is what I think they should do. They should have Mechagodzilla be like kind of like the first big bad. They all come together to fight or something. Then Destroyer be the quote unquote Ultron, and then have King Ghidorah be the quote unquote Thanos.
I don't. It's just, I feel like out of all the monsters, and this is my personal opinion, you can have yours, but
In my personal opinion, Destroyer is overrated.
I feel like Mechagodzilla is a perfect Ultron, because they can easily build 50,000 Mechagodzillas, and then a company overrides their protocols and they start destroying the world, and then the
Yeah.
monsters have to kill them. And I feel like
Well, it was
Ghidorah is
just
a
an example.
perfect. I gotcha. And like Ghidorah runs away. He's a coward. He doesn't stand to die,
Well,
which
maybe
is
they could have
exactly
Grand
like
King
Loki.
Ghidorah.
And I do want that. I want them to bring in
Or
other Ghidorahs. That would be great.
there's another monster that's been known to do that. Gigan.
True. And personally, I want a Gigan solo movie. I
Maybe
think
have him before he was like a cyborg, and
Cyborg.
then
Yeah.
build up to him becoming the cyborg.
I know in our very
And
first
hold on.
bonus episode.
All right, and then have them like maybe like have like the viewers like sympathize for Gigan and like kind of like root for him,
I gotcha.
kind of like the way the
I
MCU fans root for Loki sometimes.
Yeah. I do know Samson West in our very first episode thought uh I just I'm pretty sure if I recall he didn't want a Gigan solo movie, but I do feel like what Haxor said. Especially if you dwelled on having that emotional connection with Gigan and kind of getting the audience to like him, and then maybe have like two solo movies with Gigan. The first one, he's a pure-blooded animal. Second one, he's got his claws and maybe a new mouth. And then, like, the next time you see him, he's got more like what he had in the Showa. And then by the time Gigan dies, he's more like Final Wars Gigan with chainsaws and a
Yeah.
little more and purely cybernetic. That way you can kind of see character development and you can feel bad for the creature behind the suit of armor.
Now, do you think this should be purely like based on the kaiju, or should like there
No,
be
I want
humans?
kaijin. I want human action. I would
Yeah,
love for
I
them
agree.
to do a Matango, Human Vapor, H-Man, Invisible Man, half human. I want them
Well,
to go back and also redo their kaijin movie.
well, maybe for the kaijin they can do like I don't know what Netflix does with Punisher or something.
I gotcha, and I do want TV shows. I always thought TV shows is still a good place for stuff like that.
Maybe have a
However,
Manila TV show. The Manila
Manila
show.
sitting teaching class or in the middle of class.
Godzilla.
um, but like if they did a King Kong show, I would like that. I think that would work. But as we're going to do eventually, the more TV shows you put, the more likely oversaturation is going to happen. And we're not going to get too much into detail in this episode, but that is a major problem whenever TV shows start to become popular. So they would have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Uh,
And if they do go down the TV show route, I really hope they have them connect with the movies more than the MCU does.
well, it's different. We can talk about that in a later episode, but I do agree with you on a lot of. Oh, quick question. In the Jet Jaguar solo movie, would you want him to fight Megalon?
I think that would be cool.
I feel
Maybe,
like Jet and Megalon are very interconnected.
yeah, and maybe have it kind of like what they were gonna have without having Godzilla in it from the '73 one.
From what I read, that was actually false.
Oh,
So,
it was. Godzilla was
yeah,
always meant to be in it.
yes.
Oh,
But
well, it would still
I
be
read
cool
that from
having a Jet Jaguar solo movie with
yes,
like Megalon, and I would like to see a new modern take on Megalon.
agreed. And real quick, yes, this is all speculation. This is not confirmed. So it'd be cool if this was confirmed, but it's not. So my apologies.
This
But
episode
like,
goes up, and then a minute later, it's confirmed that the World of
yeah,
Godzilla will
yeah.
not be happening.
Watch us record this. Our editor edits it, and then we're like, yeah, we just speculated, and we're gonna put it out. And then literally 10 minutes later, on our Twitter feed, World of Godzilla has been announced as false. They will continue the MonsterVerse,
I'd
and then
still
we're
be
gonna be
okay with
like,
that.
yeah. I mean, I'd be as long as we get
Well,
Godzilla.
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure
care.
I'm pretty sure it's already been confirmed that the MonsterVerse will be continuing.
There's not confirmation, but the
Didn't
writing is on the wall.
didn't someone at Toho say that at
They
Comic Con?
said they would like to continue.
Oh, I
However,
see.
they didn't clearly. Nobody has gone out and said the MonsterVerse is continuing. Nobody has directly said those words. Until then, it's up in the air, but like you said, somebody basically said, yeah, we want to continue this. Why would you not continue this? It's doing well. So, like I said, writing's on the wall, it's coming. It's just people want to still complain about King of the Monsters flopping, which we're going to discuss in a later episode.
I think is real quick. I really think Godzilla vs Kong Godzilla vs Kong will make more money than King of the Monsters, but it won't be as good of a movie as King of the Monsters. If you know what I mean.
I gotcha.
That's my predictions.
Anyway, back onto the world of Godzilla. Would you like them to do Gamera? If
Well,
Toho
it's the
could
world of Godzilla,
do a
not the world
crossover.
of Gamera.
Yes, but I mean like have Gamera as a character in the universe.
Well, you don't
'Cause-
see the MCU crossing over with like the DCU.
but it's kind of different. I mean, it's still under. What I would like to see is maybe a Spider-Man situation. Because Spider-Man's not owned by Marvel. None of those characters are. That's
Hmm.
all owned by Sony. If Kaidowa could get off their butt and be like, hey, Toho, you're doing that shared cinematic universe. Can we cross?
Honestly, I think an Ultraman crossover is more likely.
I would like that, but I also feel like that's taking things to the extreme of having
Because
super.
I'm pretty sure, well, they're not really superheroes, they're more aliens.
I mean, perfect. It's kind of Ultra 7. That is clearly more of a superhero. I don't know if you've watched that.
I guess. But because I'm pretty sure Toho and Subaraya are like buddies or something.
I
'Cause I
mean,
know back
Toho
in the
is
day,
distributing Shin Ultraman, so
yeah, and I know back in the day they lend the Subaraya the
that
Godzilla
wasn't
suit for his.
Toho. That was Subaraya taking, because they were his creation. He used them
Yes,
whenever.
right. And is Subaraya still alive?
He was the first person to die out of the original Godzilla,
Oh,
1970. His last Godzilla movie he worked on was Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, and even then he didn't really work in it a whole. But what else would you like to discuss, Haxor, about World of Godzilla?
sorry, what?
What else? What do you think? Mainly, what would the backstories be for these? Because there's so many different backstories for these monsters.
Well, for the 54 or for Godzilla, they should just go with the original.
Okay.
For all these backstories, I think they should just go with the original. Like for like Anguirus, or they're gonna have to think of something new for Anguirus. But for Rodan and Mothra, I think they should just keep it all the same.
Um, especially, what do you think they would do with Ghidorah? Would they make him the Futurian's creation, or is he probably stuck as a space alien?
Um, the Gargoa or whatever they're called,
The what?
the aliens from Zone Fighter. Right, that's another
Uh,
thing I want to touch up on
uh,
later. Well, anyway,
uh.
I think they just should have him as like just an alien.
Okay. And then, do you want? I mean, I kind of like the idea that humans build Mecha Godzilla, but maybe it's from a alien Mechagodzilla. Aliens came to invade Earth, and they came with Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla got destroyed. They used that technology to build their own, similar to Pacific Rim, but not
Yeah,
exactly.
I think they should have both. Because why
And
not?
then, and then you could have the Mechagodzilla Armada, and then a terrorist organization or aliens hack into those, and then that's kind of like a big bad for a movie or something.
Yeah. Now, I think this is just me, but I think there are some other certain people who would like this. But I think maybe they should implement Zone Fighter into it.
Before that, I want Zone Fighter on DVD so I can finally watch it.
Yes, definitely.
Hashtag Zone Fighter for America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's make that trending on Twitter. Hashtag ZONEFIGHTER, the number 4, America. AMERICA. Uh, I spelled that so wrong. You get it. uh, anyway, as you were saying, Haxor. Zone Fighter for, World of Godzilla.
Well, I think they should do that later on, maybe in like phase 3 or 4, if they do go by that.
Okay.
Like have him
Oh,
and you go.
oh no, you go. I was just going to say
I
something
I don't know. I
weird.
forget what I was gonna say. You go.
Uh, would you want them to do animated shows too that are in
Die.
the universe? What if they did something similar to Godzilla '98 the series? but it was in canon. Because that would be cheaper. I mean, Marvel is doing that with their What If series.
I mean, I guess.
It would be a way for them to do more giant monster stuff on TV quicker. As long as they did it right, of course. And no offense, but I would like a Zilla movie. I would love for them to use
Me
Zilla in
too.
his own standalone movie, and then have Godzilla versus Zilla or something, and then have
Or
him die a miserable death, or
no,
have him more of an Earth
they
that
should
nobody loves.
they should bring back. Ugh, I'm dying here. Okay, this will lead into the second thing I want to discuss. I think they should revive the Griffin concept if they go down the 98 route or Zilla route.
I could see that. Anyway, you said you were going to lead it into another thing.
I think the world of Godzilla is a good chance for them to revive dead concepts, such as bacon.
Bacon? I love bacon.
Bacon.
I know. Bacon's great.
Okay. No, but seriously, I really
uh,
love bacon, and I'd love to see him have an
I do
on-screen
love
appearance.
bacon myself.
Okay.
No, but yeah, they really do need to bring Baggin back.
Or maybe they could even add Ghost Godzilla. I don't know. Bring back dead concepts, Toho. Or maybe even
Yeah,
Monster M, the original GMK concept.
yeah.
That would be really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, what else would you want them to expand on? And you are for or against Gamera being in the world of Godzilla?
I'm not against it, but I just really don't think it's gonna.
I gotcha. Personally, I feel like it would be better if they hinted towards Gamera and then had Gamera do his own trilogy and then do Godzilla versus Gamera as kind of like one of those big lead up.
I'd love to see Godzilla vs. Gamera much more than Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yes, agree. So was anyways, you were saying you had other ideas, was it?
Mm, just
I
give
guess we could
Skeleturtle his
start.
own trilogy.
Mm, I guess we could talk about if you wanted it animated, anime or not.
No,
I know they said that they want to pursue anime. Do you want them, if they were to do
no,
it? Okay,
big
good.
fat no.
I'm happy we're on the same page there. Uh, so
Although
I know.
I'm down for having some anime movies done right.
I know some people have said that Shin Godzilla's the beginning of. I'm gonna say WOG. I'm tired of saying World of Godzilla. WOG. Shin Godzilla's the beginning of WOG, and Shin Godzilla 2 is really going to be kicking it off.
No, just
I
no.
don't want them to. I don't want Shin Godzilla 2. I
I
feel
just
like
really
Shin
don't like
Godzilla.
Shin Godzilla. Well, I really don't like. I like it, but it's not my favorite.
Agreed. Personally, I feel like Shin Godzilla is perfect stand alone. They should not touch on that because if they do, it will lose that uniqueness and that kind of realistic tone it does have. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Haxor, would you care to elaborate on that?
Um, uh, I just think I don't really know if there's anything to add because Shin Godzilla is just great on its own. and it just doesn't need a sequel.
Agreed.
It's good to leave it on a cliffhanger.
As Omniviewer said, you really couldn't go anywhere with a sequel. Because
Godzilla's
Godzilla's
frozen.
evolving into humanoids. And really what would it would end up being Shin Godzilla 2.0
Shin Human.
with 70% less Godzilla. He would be in
And
it
plus,
for like 3 hours, and then the rest would be Walking Dead Godzilla X Machina.
and if they did do a sequel, it would probably play out Godzilla wakes up from being frozen, he gets nuked. The end.
Probably something like that, you know.
Because didn't they give Japan, the US give Japan a, what's the word I'm looking for?
If I recall, the US was going to bomb Japan, specifically Godzilla, not Japan. Godzilla,
well, I think
if
they were
they
gonna
didn't
nuke
take
it.
him out. Yeah,
I'm
they
trying
were
to
going
find
to
a
nuke him.
word. I'm trying to think of the word. What, like, that you give someone a certain
Share?
amount of time before
Ultimatum.
you do something. Ultimatum, yes. Didn't
Yeah.
the US give Japan an ultimatum?
Yes.
That
They
if he
said,
woke
like,
up, they would nuke him?
yeah, they had. It was like the bomb ship is like 30 minutes out. If you don't get Godzilla frozen, we're bombing. And they were able to freeze him, but I think they said the moment he starts waking up again, they're going to nuke him, basically. And that is what the direct. Oh wait, Haxor, have you seen Evangelion? The end of it yet?
I don't care if you spoil it.
Okay, spoiler alert for Evangelion. The ending of, well, the actual ending, I don't know, episode 24 or whatever the series was, kind of was awful. If I recall, everybody died very dishonorably. No, it was congratulations. 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 That was awful. But anyway, the awful movie called The End of Evangelion ended and everybody was dead. But the kid that I can't remember. Haxor, what's the kid's
Shinji.
name? Shinji. He was the only one alive. Everybody had died. He had gone insane. The world was basically gone. The third impact happened, or second, or whatever. So yeah, it was kind of weird. Don't watch that in a public place. It is not appropriate. And don't watch it while you're eating pizza on your lunch break at a pizza restaurant, because then you kind of have to scoot over. I don't work at pizza restaurant.
I know.
But yeah, I had to scoot to the corner of my booth, and just kind of sink down in the chair, and nothing to see here, folks. 'Cause it was very weird and awkward. So yeah, definitely it's Higuchi's kind of way of ending it on a very big cliffhanger.
I wonder how Shin Ultraman's gonna end.
Probably with Shin Ultraman killing everybody and becoming an angel.
That would be disgusting.
But let's see what else. So we don't want Shin Godzilla 2 in this.
I want Shin Godzilla 3.
Yes. Titanosaurus. I think he could work great with the solo movie.
I'd love a Titanosaurus solo.
He is highly underrated. I don't care how annoying his cat is.
Technically, he could play the role of a good guy, because he's technically not like a.
I would want him to be a Loki. Him be evil his first outing, but then we find out later he's not evil. He is just under control and a misunderstood monster.
Yeah, because in Terror of Mechagodzilla, he's mind controlled, and they say he's a peaceful dinosaur.
Very peaceful.
Usually.
Yes. And what's funny is Titanosaurus is actually the last original prehistoric kaiju, pretty much. That's like based from Earth in dinosaur. Destroy is still linked to Godzilla.
He's a
Titanosaurus.
trilobite.
Wait, no, yeah, that is right. Titanosaurus was the only kaiju not connected to any monster already established or a remake of a monster. Or no, it was related to Godzilla or is a remake of a monster until the Mutos in Godzilla 2014.
Yes.
Even though I'd argue Monster X is original. Kaiser Ghidorah or Monster X2 isn't, Monster X is. But that's just how I roll. So, yeah, Titanosaurus is very much left out of things. He's a little special, mainly due to the fact he's the last dinosaur kaiju that was original.
Original.
I mean, you had Godzilla, Anguirus, Varan, Baragon, Gorosaurus. And other than those kaiju, everything else was not dinosaur. It was more of a cross between stuff, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But definitely Titanosaurus needs some love. He needs some more figures. He needs an SH Monster art.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's getting a YMS.
I'm sorry, but I don't really care for YMSF. They're overpriced.
Yeah.
Sorry. But hashtag Titanosaurus love. Make that trending.
He should get a movie monster series.
Yes. And I do agree, Megaguirus definitely should be in the Rodan movie. Or at least have, like, Rodan 1 be Rodan being evil, and Rodan 2 is him fighting off Megaguirus.
Well, not evil, more neutral.
Loose cannon. Good and evil. Yeah.
There you go.
Kind of like what the MonsterVerse did.
Yeah.
And then, like, I would love for them to kind of explain,
Also,
like, the Showa and Heisei and Millennium, all different looks for the monster.
yeah, I really hope they get new, like, really good looking new designs, and I hope they get new good roars, because that's what Shin Godzilla and the anime is lacking.
Yeah. Their monsters were a little forgettable because they were very much generic. Except Shin Godzilla tried to do.
Well, I mean the roars, because Shin
Yeah, I know.
uses
84 and 50.
I really want them to have new roars, and I want the roars to be good. Looking at you,
Yeah.
2019 Rodan.
Yeah, if you don't know what we're referencing, check out our Scrye episode. We don't like the roar for Rodan. And Biolante, I'd love for Biolante to come back.
I've never really been a big fan of Biolante because of one reason. How does she move?
She's not connected to the ground, so her vines kind of like throw her.
That's always kind of weirded me out and confused me.
Yeah. But I do have to say that scene with Biolante running at Godzilla and all of her spines or weird vines moving, beautiful shot. Beautiful. I don't know how the people at Toho got her to do that, but oh my god, it was great. A very much big props to you guys for doing that. And then, like I said, Gabra, I mean, I would love for them to kind of put Gabra in, but make him more demonist, or demonic. Yeah,
I
make
think
him
he'd
more
be
demonic.
better on all fours.
I mean, whatever, make him scary.
Actually, no. The more I picture that, no.
Well, I would want, maybe they could just do Gabra in name only. Kind of like redesign him to the point where he's more of a demonic dream monster in like a TV series or something, and the kids have to deal with this monster in their brain.
Some sort of It/Stranger Things.
Yes. And speaking of Stranger Things, What do you want? Because we said we would bring up distribution later. Would you want them to do an American co-production in WOG?
I think that would
Or,
be interesting.
or do you want it strictly Toho? The bad special effects, the limited release in
No,
America. So
no, I
you're
think,
more for the American distribution.
yeah, I'd love to go see some of the Godzilla theaters.
Yes. Now, who
Imagine
would
a
you
world.
want?
Hang on. First of all, imagine a world where you have a legendary MonsterVerse Godzilla movie coming out alongside a Toho World of Godzilla movie coming out in the same year. Oh, you'd have a lot of DVDs to buy, ET.
Oh God. Oh. Listen, I can't.
But
I
that's
calculated. Okay, this is me getting a little private here, but I calculated it in alone Godzilla movies. I have like spent over $1,500
oh
on DVD.
god.
So
Um,
please, no more. I've spent too much, and I'm spending another 200 on Criterion. I can't do this.
but that would be my ideal world if we have a um MonsterVerse movie and a World of Godzilla movie coming out each year.
Yes. Well, I don't know about each year, because
Well,
then you're getting
maybe
oversaturation.
maybe
I
one
would
year
want
you
it,
get World of
yeah, one
Godzilla,
off,
then
one
one
on.
year, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love that.
Like, give Legendary time to make a movie. So, like, this is all hypothetical. But say after 2020, they say, okay, we're going to release our next movie in 2022. Then Toho makes Godzilla, their version. Have it limited released in America, maybe a direct DVD.
But then I can't see it.
Well, I mean, you don't want audience people getting confused why there's a different Godzilla.
Yeah, I'd be okay with a straight to DVD. Then I could just go to Walmart and pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. Have it on DVD and Blu-ray, and then the year in 2022 you would
Because
have Godzilla Legendary.
I don't feel like having to order these movies off of Amazon, eBay. I'd rather just go to a Walmart, pick it up, and then be done with it.
Exactly. It's quicker and it's more efficient and it's cheaper.
And I like getting the movies that come with sleeves.
Yes. Sleeves are beautiful. I love sleeves.
That
I
or a
don't know why.
steelbook.
Yes.
Or maybe a steelbook with a sleeve.
I mean, Mothra is that. The
Where can I
Mothra
get this?
Steelbook. Amazon.
Alright, I'll be right back.
uh, so, and yeah, I did want to touch on what we would think a perfect world would be. And yes, I do agree. If they were able to do a work where like one year it's legendary, next year's Toho, next year's legendary, and we can get multiple giant monster movies within the Godzilla the Godzilla franchise, I would love that. I
And
think that would
also,
be perfect.
we gotta remember, because at some point, Godzilla's gonna take another 10-year hiatus. Or so.
Eventually, yes.
Because
Hopefully
if you
that's
look
not
at
for
it,
another few years.
yeah, I hope he doesn't go on hiatus until like 2035 or something.
Yeah. He desperately needs another Showa era run
Yeah, he
if
needs
he
to
wants to
show
continue.
he needs to show modern audiences that he can be good.
But to do that, they have to get him out of the bad May release. Godzilla is proven to do very well in November, December. He's a winter box office hit, which is why I don't want any more Godzilla movies in the months of March, April, May.
But May is my birth month.
I for Godzilla's sake, he's better off in December.
Yeah.
Like Godzilla 54 released in December, very
And
large movie.
look at Star Wars.
Yeah, and Star Wars is kind of going to be dead soon, so
Isn't the series ending?
No, the series is not ending unless episode 9 is big flop. So we will see where that goes. I kind of hope episode 9's big flop and Disney just kind of like,
Endgame.
yeah, goodbye. Star
Star
Wars,
Wars
we're gonna put you on a 70-year hiatus again.
70?
I mean, who knows? Ryan Johnson really screwed up the franchise. Anyway, back on to Godzilla. Who would you want to distribute in America? Would you want Warner Brothers, Sony, Universal, or Disney?
Disney. No. Can you go through that list again?
Warner Brothers, Universal, Sony, Paramount, or Disney?
I'd have to stick with Legendary or Warner Bros.
I gotcha. Part of me kind of would like for it to stay with Sony. That way, like Criterion, it can keep its
But
Showa era.
it would also be interesting to see it produced by Disney.
I am a person. I'm for. If Disney were to do a Godzilla movie, I would not be upset. I don't want Disney to buy Godzilla.
Yeah, that would just be poopy.
Yeah, but I would like to see Disney taking a crack at the King.
Yeah.
With the marketing teams they have, the huge budgets they'll give, I feel like it would be good. Now, the special effects wouldn't be as good as Warner Brothers, but
they have great special effects.
With Disney getting Fox, it does get rights to Andy Serkis' studio that did Planet of the Apes. And Planet of the Apes is some of the best special effects ever seen on film. The War for the Planet of the Apes, not the originals or Rise. Have you seen War for the Planet of the Apes, Haxor?
Nah, I haven't really been interested in Planet of the Apes.
Definitely watch the new trilogy. It's really good. But basically, the gorillas and apes in War look almost exactly like real apes. They look like they're legitimately on screen. I think that if Disney were to use that special effects, things would go a lot better. So is there any last thoughts on WOG you would like to bring up or discuss?
Just give Anguirus a role in it and I'll be happy.
Hashtag give Anguirus some love.
Yes.
Make that on trending Twitter too. So that's it?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I'm looking at my DVDs right now. I'm trying to think, is there anything else really I could like to see them do?
Red Man.
I don't know what that is. I know of it, but I don't know.
Ultra 7?
I love Ultra 7. Space Godzilla. Would they bring him back? Because I know he's kind of like that one character everybody hates.
He's that one creepy uncle. Name.
But personally, I don't mind Space Godzilla, but
me neither.
I want him to come back. Oh, perfect villain for the first Mothra movie, Batra.
Yes.
Batra for Mothra.
And have Deadzilla as the third.
As the sequel.
Or maybe have Deadzilla as the sequel and build up to Batra for the final.
I don't know. I mean, it would definitely be an Iron Man-esque thing. Because in the first Iron Man, he faces essentially the same person as himself.
Yeah.
A la Mothra and Batra. The sequel, somebody similar to him, but way powerful. Deadzilla, I guess. And then, like, a third one, I'd love for them to do, like, Death Ghidorah or Grand Ghidorah or one of those.
But then that would kind of ruin the presence of King Ghidorah later on.
True, but, like, it doesn't have to be all together. It can be spaced out among, like, 5 years.
Maybe just have something original for the
That
final
would
one.
work too. But I do want them to explore the history of Ghidorah, which means I would want them to mention Cretaceous King Ghidorah, Grand King Ghidorah, Ghidorah, Kaiser Ghidorah, and regular Ghidorah. And a perfect way they could do it is like say Orochi was from space, and Orochi had an egg, and Cretaceous King Ghidorah came out of that, and Cretaceous King Ghidorah lay dormant as another meteorite struck, and it was Ghidorah, and Ghidorah lay dormant for several thousand years,
And then laid another egg.
and then Ghidorah came out and laid an egg, and it was New Ghidorah, or like
Kaiser.
if they could find a way of explaining, like maybe it's aliens targeting the Earth with meteorites with Ghidorahs in them, or something
Mm.
like that. Kind of like Transformers.
I'd rather have Ghidorah be his own entity and not be controlled by anything. Kind of like how he was in the MonsterVerse, because it makes him more threatening.
True.
Because it's all him doing it.
Yeah. Or at least aliens that kind of give him an objective, and then the rest is
Well,
up to
still,
him
that
to.
kind of it would make him far more scary if he chose to invade Earth for his own, like on his own way.
Well, I would think of it more as like what happened in Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, where he crash lands on Earth and then just starts destroying everything, except I guess you could just say aliens targeted the Earth threw the rock on there, and then it's up to Ghidorah to do what he wants to do. I mean, something like that would work.
I don't know. I just really like the MonsterVerse Ghidorah.
Yeah, but
He's spooky.
okay, first things first, Ghidorah should not be on all fours. That's one
Yes,
thing I will
put him on
fight
all
for
fours.
the no. He should not be. He should
I
never
will
be on all
fight for that.
fours. I will fight for him to be on two legs 100% of all the time. I'm sorry, but Ghidorah should never walk on all fours unless your name's Kaiser or Des.
Okay, well, I guess it's not so bad to have him on two legs. I was kind of only hoping for just one iteration of Ghidorah at least to have him on his wings. And it definitely works for the MonsterVerse because what animal has more than four limbs that's not an octopus or something?
Starfish.
Okay, well, a land animal that's not an insect or an arachnid.
Good question. I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Okay,
Cue
well,
Jeopardy music.
you get what I mean, though.
More
Because
than
it's not
four-legged animals on land.
limbs.
Whatever. Land animals. Animals that have four legs, six legs. Um, Bugs. I don't want bugs. Hang on. Uh, the only animal with five legs. The kangaroo.
You are a kangaroo.
A kangaroo has a fifth leg. It's still
What?
very
What?
much a leg.
Okay, well, never mind. You're just degrading what I'm saying. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I have no idea what you're talking about whatsoever.
Okay, let's just move on.
Um, yeah, I mean, is there anything else really to discuss here other than Ghidorah should not be on four
Two
legs?
legs. We should put
Okay,
Destroya on four legs.
please no.
That would just look funky. Put
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla on four legs, and then put Anguirus on two.
You do you, man. So I guess we'll start wrapping it up here. We've had a good long discussion. If you haven't already, if you're listening to us on YouTube, please like the video, subscribe, and ring that bell so you'll be notified anytime we upload a new episode. That way you'll be notified and you can listen to us right away. Also, comment down below, like I said, the stuff I said, and if there's a review you would like to leave and you don't have Apple or iMusic or anything like that, you can tell us what you think down in the comments down below. Please do. Um, if you haven't already and you have Twitter, our Twitter is at Kaiju_Converse. That's at KAIJU_CONVERS. Follow us. You'll be notified for when episodes are out. We also include uh, daily posts, and we like and retweet a lot of stuff for some reason. I blame that mostly on me. Uh, and if you haven't already, join our Discord server. It's always fun to have more people on here. We love the discussions, and it's just a really fun place for everybody to hang out with. Am I right there, Haxor?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And also, like I said, if you don't have, if you do have, if you're listening to us on an iPhone, more than likely you have iTunes. So please leave us a review on iTunes, whether it's 1 star or 5 stars or heck, even 50,000 stars. That'd be great.
Can you
But
even do that?
no, you can't, unfortunately. Please review the podcast. It's always good. I personally love criticism. Just make sure it's constructive criticism, not that my voice is too monotone and is too annoying, or Haxor is a great person.
Your co-host is annoying.
uh, so please, and when you do leave a review, we will read it on air, and you get a little shout out that way. Also, if you don't have Twitter, if you don't have YouTube, and you don't have iTunes or anything, you can also email us at kaijuconversation@gmail.com, all lowercase letters, all that jazz. And you can give us a review that way. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We're glad to answer. And I think that's everything. Also, oh, I forgot, I keep forgetting this. We have merchandise. If you're listening to us on YouTube, just look in the description below and you can find our store. If not, just look up Kaiju Conversation T Public on Google and it should be one of the first things that pops up. And a big thanks and shout out to our editor, Justice.
Yes.
He's a great person. It's really good that he came back to edit our episodes. We really enjoy that. He's great, very efficient, very effective. So very thank you much there. Yeah, he does great editing. And Haxor, where can we find you at?
You can find me at the YouTube channel of Haxorzilla, and you can find me at the Twitter of at Haxorzilla129.
Awesome. And I, as hopefully you all should know I'm your host. I don't know. I don't think I know that. But I'm ET13 Productions. You can find me on YouTube as ET13 Productions. Also, like I said, you can contact me through Discord. Just join our server, and I'll gladly talk to anybody. Is there any final words you'd like to say, Haxor?
Adios.
Adios. Great word. This has been your Kaiju Conversation, where we talk big every week.